Hello everyone, this is Sermon, and again, this is the part 2 of the Greenfoot tutorial. So I'll begin from opening our new scenario. Let's open the documents. So when you're working in the Computer Lab B, open the documents and then access your section folder. Double click and then find the scenario that we're about to modify. So let's say it's the trick scenario. Double click and find this project icon or this Greenfoot project file. In the future, I will be asking you to also submit the whole scenario. So do not just simply submit me this single file. It has to be one folder, or I hope you know how to zip your file, and that's how you submit your scenarios to me. But for now, let's open project. So again, Greenfoot version 3.1. So I hope you update if you have installed it earlier. Alright, so now we are back in the previous created scenario that we have named the trick. And so far we have created our first subclass, which is the turtle. So apparently if you count all classes so far under the class diagram, we have 4. So world, my world, actor, and turtle. And again, these arrows connecting the two classes gives you an idea of the relationship of those two classes. But for now, know that this is the subclass, this is the super class or the main class. So now let's, as I promised, I will be adding new methods or adding actions to our turtle object. So if I place my turtle here, it will not run or act or do anything yet. As you know, we haven't inputted yet any codes. So let's open, double click the turtle class and access open editor. So again, we're back to the old text editor, or simply the text editor. So it is part of the Greenfoot IDE. Now, I want you to notice that in this interface, we have several lines that are very important, like import Greenfoot, these text here, the class signature, as you've learned from last meeting, and we have another set of comments. And if you notice, under the yellow background, you would find that this line, public void app, is a very special type of method. Remember, methods in Java are simply procedures or instructions that you give to a class. So public void app, it says here, do whatever the turtle wants to do. This method is called whenever the app or run buttons gets pressed in the environment. And this is what they mean by that, the act and the run button. So it will react to that. But of course, whatever you place within the braces or brackets of public void app will be enacted or read by the computer. So you'll see later when we type something inside this one, we can see the implementation of that action or method. Okay, but so it says here, add your action code here. So where do we get those methods from that we can input? Okay, so if you've read beforehand or if you recall from your last year's lesson, you would know that, like example would be the move method. This one here is a method that allows us to make our object or class to go from one point to the other. So let's say move 3. Alright, and now by the way, the current version of Greenfoot is already auto-compile. So if you don't notice that, it will already compile. If you notice, this has changed already to class compiled, no syntax error. But if you really want to make sure, you are free to simply click this one, compile, to save completely your code. And again, the process of compile or clicking compile activates a compile command or the compiler program, which simply translates our English words or English instructions like here in Java into binary language that your computer understands. So let's proceed. We have move 3, and then let's again, if you notice, the turtle disappeared because I don't have a code yet to make the turtle stay in that position, but it's easy to place it again. So now my turtle is from this point. If I click act, if you notice, as I hover, it tells me call act once for every actor, meaning it will only do the action once. And how about run? Run the simulation, or simply to do the act method again and again until you click pause. So let's try to click act first. I don't know if you noticed that the small change in the distance from its original position, but if I click run, our turtle simply runs toward the wall or the right edge of the screen. So as you notice, it is still ongoing, it is running, it is implementing the move 3. So somewhat, if you the turtle is simply stuck in that area. So what we do, we pause first. So now that you know how the act method works, whatever you place inside it will be implemented. So let's say we'll add another line of method. So let's say turn 6, and then semicolon, click compile, and then again we place our turtle here. We don't have a command yet to make our turtle stay in that place. Let's run the program and see again. So what is happening here? Let's observe. So from this part, so public void act, we are telling the turtle to move 3. Then when you're done moving 3 pixels, you turn 6, meaning 6 degrees. So move 3, turn 6, and again, since we click run, it will keep on doing that. So it will return back to move 3, turn 6, move 3, turn 6, until we select pause. Okay, so that's how it works. So of course, move method and turn method are not the only methods that you can access or you can use with our class here. What if you want to make a complex program? Like let's say you want to make some random events, or let's say we want to make our turtle make some decisions. So what methods should we use here? So if you don't have an idea, or if you are new with Greenfoot in fact has some sort of a library within, a library of methods that we can check as reference. So how do we access it? Let's go to the help menu and then select Greenfoot class documentation. Alright, so it should load the Greenfoot documentation, or Greenfoot class documentation will load a window, part of Greenfoot, and as you can see, it opened automatically. If it doesn't open in your computer, then most likely it's currently blinking right now. So but for now, let's look at this window. It says here package Greenfoot, and under the package Greenfoot, just like any package, has some contents are methods. But if you notice, if you scroll, or if you see this table here, it doesn't say the methods like move or turn. Where are they? So in this case, since we just opened the Greenfoot class documentation, we are welcomed by this class summary, whereas the methods are actually arranged according to the class that can use those methods. So remember, what was the superclass or main class of our turtle? So I hope you answered actor. So since it is part of the actor class, it can inherit or use most of the methods under the actor class. So let's say click actor. This is actually a link, and it should open another page like a web page that tells you what an actor class is all about. And if you scroll down, some constructor summary, that will be a topic in the future. But let's move on until we see method summary. Now, as much as possible, I want you to also open the Greenfoot class documentation on your own. During practical tests or any type of test or project that I ask of you, I want you to maximize the use of the Greenfoot class documentation. Even real programmers actually refer to these methods from time to time. So you don't really need to memorize all the methods. As much as possible, I want you to understand how each method works and how you can mix and match them to make complex tasks. So here, method summary, you'll see here a table with two columns. So the first column says modifier and type, and the second column is method and description. So let's discuss first the method and description. So basically, act, added to world, get image, and so on are method names. So here, and if you notice, all methods has like a word there or a verb plus parenthesis, set of parentheses. Some parenthesis doesn't have anything inside it. Some parentheses do have or requires a parameter or value in it. Then also, if you look at if you scroll down more, you'll find the method move, and this is the move method. I'll maximize this so that we can see the whole screen. Select method move. Okay, where is it? Here. So by the way, you can easily spot a method because they're arranged alphabetically. So let me just read the description for move. It tells me move this actor the specified distance in the direction it is currently facing. And I believe it's easy to understand how it works. And from this portion here, the move and then int distance, it tells us what is the requirement of the move method, and it requires a value. So int here is actually short for integer, and remember, integers are whole numbers that can be positive or negative. So we know now that methods here can be used immediately, or some methods can should be used with accordingly depending on its required parameter. So you just have to read the description, and I think can be easily understood. Now next, let's look at the first column, which is the modifier and type, or simply the return type of a method. Okay, so what is a return type? Simply return types, just like this. Let's go back to the move here. Return type, in this case, the return type of the move method is void. And there are also other methods that has a return type of void, and the other methods do have a different return type, like int. And let's check the other. Okay, we have also Boolean. Okay, so what is a return type exactly? So all methods do have their own return types. And what does it return exactly? It returns information back to the user or the programmer, information after the method has been executed. So let's say we have the move method. So the move method has a void return type, just like this. However, if you know already what the word void means, which is void means nothing, so simply void as its return type, the move doesn't return any information back to the user or programmer, simply because of its return type. It will only do the action we have told the computer. So for example, move, it will just use the value here and then simply do the action. Okay, so other methods that with the void return type is like set image, and in this case we use the set image, then simply it will just change the image of a certain class or object. Set location, the same thing, set rotation, and so on. Okay, so next we want to discuss also the other return type would be int, and again int is short for integer. We have, I think, three types of, or three methods with int return types under the actor class. So we have get x, get y, and get rotation. So they have the int return type. So what do you think that the get rotation, get x, and get y return? So they return an integer or a value. So if you use them, it will give you some sort of a value. So let's try out. So I'll show you if, let's say, if I want to invoke or call that method get x or get y, let's have some trial by invoking it manually. So I'll be right clicking the turtle, and then let's check what are the methods from the actor class. So let's say get x. If I click int get x, it will give me some sort of a value, which is x96. How about y? We'll get a value of 152. So simply, the x and y combined gives you some form of a coordinate or a specific location of the turtle within the world. In the future, you might want to use this, especially when you want to make a complex game or a game that can track the movements of a certain object. Okay, and finally, we have one last method, which is the return type, which is the Boolean method. So in this case, we have Boolean. So far, we have three methods that are with Boolean return type. So intersects, is at edge, and is touching. So when do we use a Boolean method? We use Boolean methods to make our class or objects smarter, to be able for them to decide on certain conditions. So if you're wondering where did we get the word Boolean from? So Boolean comes from the mathematician George Boole. He is a mathematician who developed some form of a way in order to test certain statements if they are true or false. So simply, intersects, is at edge, is touching are methods that can either be true or false. So let's try looking or trying to use some of the methods here, like is at edge, detect whether the actor has reached the edge of the world. So let's try using it in our own program. So apparently, if I just, let's go back to the class editor. I'll first remove the turn here, and then return to the compile. And if you notice, our turtle is just simply moving towards the wall without thinking, or it doesn't really know what to do. So let's make it smarter by adding a certain decision-making feature. And to do that, we'll have to use one programming concept that we call conditional statement. So I add here. So what happened? Let's Control Z first. Okay, so I'll add another line, which is the under the move. So if, open and close. Okay, so when you type an if conditional statement, immediately it is followed by a parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis, this is where you type the method. Let's say is at edge. If it's currently at the edge, we'll decide later what we want our turtle to do here. So for now, let's try to see our Greenfoot API again. So what's the use of usethe? Detect whether the actor has reached the edge of the world. Also, be careful when you're copying the method. You have to be mindful that it is very much case sensitive. So if it's capital A or capital E, it has to be in the actual code. So is at edge. So remember to type the is at edge in the parenthesis of if. So, and then of course, all methods end with open and close parenthesis. So that's how we write the Boolean method. Then finally, you move your cursor at the end of the line, press enter, and then what comes after the if statement? Of course, the then statement. So then statements, when you write in Java, remember that they have to be enclosed in braces as well, or brackets, curly brackets. So type already or both brackets when you add your statement. So just like any other grouping symbol, you type immediately both of the symbols. Grouping symbols always come in pairs. So again, now make sure that your cursor is in the middle of those two braces. Press enter twice and you'll have that kind of setup. Place your cursor in between. Then statements must have an indent, and to do that indent, I just simply press the tab key. And then let's say for example, if we want our turtle to get to the edge, as it gets to the edge, it will turn or change its direction. You just simply type here turn and then put some value in it. I'll probably change this move 3 to probably move 5. So move 3 is at edge. So again, this line here is our if statement. I'll just simply add our comment, the gray comment, and to write a gray comment, just simply add // and then you can add some comments. That is simply for note taking, or at least it gives you an idea what's the purpose of those lines. So now I think we're ready to compile, and if you notice, it's already being compiled automatically. But to make sure, let's click compile again. Okay, so and I think it's now ready to run. And again, our turtle is here, and we'll try to run the program and observe what happened to our turtle. So as it reaches the edge of the screen, it will test whether it is at the edge or not. So let's try to invoke or call the is at edge. Let's test it if it works. So right click on that turtle, inherited from actor. Let's see, is at edge. So let's select. So what do you think is the value that we will get here? I hope your answer is false, and it is false. So it is not currently at the edge of the screen. How about if we put our turtle in this area? So most likely, hopefully it will return a value of, so it's kind of sensitive. It's really hard to place the turtle at the very edge. It's very sensitive to that. Let's try again. Again, it's false. So there will be a point wherein, well, it's really hard to simulate it manually. So I hope it gives again, or gives now the value of, still false. So if it's really at the edge, it will give us a true value. Anyway, you can just test it out on your own if you want to really know how it works. So now that's our simple conditional statement. I hope you learned how we have used our API or the Greenfoot class documentation, which you will use as your reference during our class activities, as well as when you make your own projects already. Try to check this first And in the future, you are able to you will be able to create your methods on your own. So that will be discussed in a future topic. So that's how you use the different methods. You use certain methods according to their parameters. You use their methods according to their return types. So I hope you learned something today. So that's it. I'll see you next time.